to a short update on the AlpLinkBioEco project. As a short reminder, the project's main objective is to link economic actors across the alpine space into new bio-based value chains. I'm here with Uli Daum from Uetliberg Partners, chairman of the advisory board of our project.
Hello, everyone.
When we started working together 2 years ago, our project was in its starting blocks. As a very first building block, we had to find a way to describe value chains in a way that would allow to unearth opportunities and to create new connections between existing actors in the alpine space. We developed a simple input-process-output model and started to collect publicly available data on real economic actors in the bioeconomy field. What started as a thought experiment on Excel sheets has become much more elaborate over the last 2 years, and the database is now fully digitized in a value chain generator developed by the Institute of Complex Systems of our university. This digital interface now allows to explore opportunities for new bio-based value chains and to create connections between the actors covered in the database. Over the last few months, our project partners formed piloting teams to turn such opportunities into real action. Concretely, to connect actors, bring together to discuss opportunities for bio-based value chains. Uli, let us know what you achieved in this piloting phase.
We wanted to test in bio-based case in chemistry. We tried to connect two independent actors. The actors should never have worked together before, and the case should have been new to both of them.
And what was this concrete idea that you have been able to pilot with these actors?
In the polyurethane chemistry, you have an input where you put the raw materials in, then you have your process. As an output, you have the ready for polyurethane. The polyurethanes are typically formed from two different components which react chemically. One component can be castor oil, which is a very high volume product, and the idea was to replace that directly. The concrete case was with Konica Limited, who is using castor oil in multi-ton quantities and is, for instance, producing running tracks.
And why would you want to replace castor oil in this case?
Castor oil is a material which is produced in the tropics and is imported. The price and the quantity depend on the harvest in the tropics, and they vary from year to year. Sometimes it's cheap, sometimes it's expensive, sometimes very well available, sometimes restricted. Now, the idea was to replace that with a regional product from the area.
This makes a lot of sense. How have you been able to find options for a bio-based replacement?
We are using the value chain generator in a completely independent case. In this case, as well on polymers, but a completely different class of polymers, which is polyolefins. Now, on polyolefins, their one side stream was chicken feather oil. From distance, this is something which is okay, because as well it's an oil. And I had a look at that at PICC with Professor Kaupmanns to have a look and to feel that physically in my hands whether it could be used as a replacement for castor oil. And it was positive on a first glance.
And so you have been able to connect Konica Limited to this chicken feather oil producer.
I tried, however, this didn't work out for a very simple restriction. The quantity of chicken feather oil is restricted. It's something like 30 tons in Switzerland per year, and even a mid-sized company like Konica is using several hundred tons per year. So chicken feather oil was not the right product.
All right, but a few minutes ago you just told me that you have been able to actually connect to actors around this idea, so I guess you had an alternative.
Yes, in the end I had a good alternative to chicken feather oil. Chicken feather oil would have been an input for the value chain generator for polyurethanes output for Konica, and we are looking for something which is similar in properties. Now, a property of chicken feather oil is an animal oil. So we have been putting animal oil in the value chain generator, and we found an alternative, and that would be Centravo. And Centravo is processing residues from slaughterhouses in Switzerland. Now, the residues on the low end of value is biodiesel, and on the high end it's oil for the pharma industry. And what we are looking for would be an animal oil or animal fat in the values somewhere in between.
And in this case, you have been able now to bring these two actors together, Centravo and Konica.
Yes, it was possible. Konica was relatively easy because I had old colleagues there, and I gave him a call. I introduced the project, which we have. Then I explained my role, and I checked the interest for the replacement, whether there's an interest or not. And then, when I got the okay for that, as well I checked if I could hand the name of Konica to the other contact company. In the case of Centravo, the process was similar. I introduced the project myself, and I checked the interest for them. And the interest for them would be to find a new outlet. In the end, it was both okay for both companies to exchange the names, to create a workshop, exchange the specs, and sample.
This is a very interesting case, Uli, and it sounds like the value chain generator really helped you in the process, right?
That's absolutely true. The value chain generator first showed from polyurethanes that chicken feather oil as a side stream can be used in another value chain, the polyurethane value chain. Now, the chicken feather oil is restricted in volume, so with the value chain generator we could find an alternative source, which would be Centravo, which is animal fat oil. And for Centravo it would be an output, and for Konica the replacement of castor oil by animal fat oil would be an input. So it really worked out in several cases.
Thank you very much for this interesting insight.